Is there one morning routine that will skyrocket your productivity? The answer is yes. So today, I'm going to show you the most effective routine that's built the careers of billionaires. And I'll show you what to do at each time and why. You're going to love it because it's easy and simple. And yet, it makes you work like you're on crack. Hi, if you don't know who I am, I'm Riley. I've been learning productivity for years now, and with this advice, I've helped thousands of people online achieve their goals. Anyway, at 6:20 a.m., you will wake up. At this time, you'll do the most crucial step in this guide. So there's a thing called dopamine, right? What people do is that in the morning, they waste all of this dopamine away. They do this by scrolling. But the problem is that you don't actually have that much dopamine. To show you, let me ask you a question. Have you ever woken up ready to do some work, but you just didn't feel like it? You slump into your chair, letting the hours pass on by, you procrastinate. That's because your dopamine levels are seriously low that morning. This is bad news. If this goes untreated, you won't get anything done. So what do? Well, we're going to maximize as much dopamine as possible. And this can be achieved with a few habits. So you wake up at 6:20 a.m. You go to the fridge and you grab your 1 liter water bottle. Sprinkle some salt in there, and right after that, with this water bottle, you're going to go outside and walk for 15 minutes. This is great for dopamine. Sunlight penetrates your eyes, which gives you tons of dopamine. Walking in nature does this too. And salt, especially Himalayan salt, boosts dopamine significantly. Add this with the water and you're set. Now, when you go back inside, your dopamine will be through the roof. But now we have a problem. We all know that sunlight is the most important part of that walk because it gives you dopamine. But you could be missing out on this. So let me ask you, how do you wake up every morning? Do you have an alarm? Do you get up as soon as it hits 6:20 a.m.? This is important because the way you wake up could be ruining your sunlight intake. How, may you ask? Well, your phone right over here emits blue light. And if that's the very first thing you see in the morning, you're screwed because it throws off your body clock. Which is bad news because that will impact your dopamine release. It can even ruin your testosterone too. So what do we do about this? Well, there are many approaches to this and they all work. You could leave the alarm on and piss everyone off. You could have no alarm. Or you can do what I do and disable snooze and turn off the alarm without looking at it. Very simple. Problem solved. It's now 6:45 a.m. and you're back indoors. This is where I'll take the opportunity to get ready. Shower, brush teeth, skincare, etc. But right after that, we'll begin our first bit of work. Usually at this time, you would have slumped into your chair and did nothing all day because you didn't feel like doing it. But now that you had that walk, you're more than ready to conquer the task. However, there's a problem. You could mess everything up if you start your day like this. See what I'm doing here? I am glossing through notifications, checking messages, seeing what's on the news, etc. TikTok is bad enough, but glossing through notifications is far worse. This is a horrible way to start. Notifications puts you in autopilot mode that sends tons of harmful dopamine spikes, which leaves you with attentional residue. Therefore, you'll be less productive. And attentional residue is especially bad enough because now something else is keeping your attention in your mind, right at the back of your brain. So what do? Well, the answer is very simple. First of all, install a blocker and set up a scheduled block in the morning for Discord, YouTube, etc. And only check once the morning has passed. Yes, only at 12 p.m. But the second thing you want to do is replace notification checking with something I do every morning. And there's a reason I do this. You see, this habit can snowball the entire day and make you insanely focused. And that habit is meditation. Sit down, straight back, and breathe in and out on 4 counts. Do this for 5 minutes. If you want the best results though, go up to 12. This is great for focus. And now you should be ready for your first bit of work. So on to the next step. Throughout our lives, people have told us that we must always eat breakfast every morning. It's the healthiest part of the day. But here's the thing. Breakfast is seriously bad for your productivity and it's one of the worst mistakes you can make every morning. And I'll show you why. When you eat food, you'll get a massive oxytocin boost. This could be bad because what oxytocin can do is that it can slow you down. But if you eat breakfast in the morning, this oxytocin boost will be big enough to shut you down for the entire day. This is why when you eat breakfast, you get really lazy and now you don't feel like doing work anymore. Now, what if you skip breakfast? Well, that puts you in a thing called hunter mode. Hunter mode is simple. You are hungry, so your brain wants to find food. so it will give you dopamine to find it. And once you eat the food, you're good to go. This is what I call the hunter rule. The more you're starving, the harder you'll work. So you must skip breakfast. But there's one more thing you need to know. So now at 12 p.m, and this is when you have lunch. But what you eat at this time is actually very, very important. Let's say you eat cereal. That is going to slow you down because it's processed junk. Okay, what about vegetables? That's a tier better, but it's missing something. One word: tyrosine. You want to eat meals with this amino acid, tyrosine. And this is for a reason. Tyrosine is vital for dopamine synthesis. It turns into dopa, and then that dopa turns into dopamine. So what foods do we eat? Your first option is red meat. Beef, pork, lamb, even white meat like chicken. These have tons of tyrosine. Second option is what I have, eggs. 5 to 8 is what you want, but I used to have 2. Now, if you don't want to eat meat, you're in luck, because the third option is here to help. Nuts, yogurt, blueberries, even green veggies help. If you want, you can add fish too. All of these give important amino acids like tyrosine, and eggs are especially good because they give you choline, which is shown to increase attention in people with ADHD. Now, you can mix these up all you want, but those are the 3 meals you can choose at 12 p.m. Now, we're on to the rest of the day. I'm going to make this very brief and quick because it's very simple. So you want to work for the entire day, naturally. But you can ruin this productivity very easily if you're not careful. So let me show you a few tips. First tip, after you eat your meal at 12 p.m, wait 3 to 4 hours until your next meal. No distractions in this time either. If you don't know, spacing your meals 3 to 4 hours apart is great for dopamine production. Each meal gives a massive boost. However, if you eat too early, you'll get the oxytocin boost and it will make you unproductive. But now, once it's 6 p.m, it's time to recover. This is important because if you don't recover properly, work will be harder to do tomorrow. So what do? Well, when you recover, you want to be in alpha brainwave state. This brainwave state helps you rest. And if you're able to stay in this state for 1 to 2 hours, you should be ready for tomorrow. So how do we do this? First of all, you need to understand the difference between passive recovery and active recovery. TV, alcohol, and YouTube are passive. And it's passive because it gives you a thing called beta waves, which you don't want. Beta waves makes you alert. Not good. Instead, you want to do this. Things like meditation, walking, and nature. But if it's dark outside, I got you. What I like to do is that I like to put myself in a quiet room and pray for some time. If you're not religious, you could just daydream. That actually does the job very well. And if you don't want to do any of those, you can go on a light jog. All of these are active recovery, and they put you in alpha state. And once you're in alpha state, you'll be ready to rest. But there's one more thing I need to talk to you about. Everything that I just told you could come falling down if you have this one problem, a low attention span. Luckily, I have a video right here that'll help. Subscribe and keep never quitting.